Há muitos anos atrás, eu era ainda rapaz, mas não esqueço esse dia, porque de um beijo roubado nasceu um sonho dourado, que logo a seguir morria. Porque de um beijo roubado nasceu um sonho dourado, que logo a seguir morria. Guardo esse beijo roubado no meu coração atado com laços de teu, pois foi tudo que ficou de um amor que terminou e continua sem fim. Pois foi tudo que ficou de um amor que terminou e continua sem fim. Se eu fosse lá, faria voltar atrás esse dia, eternizá-lo em meu peito. Pobre de mim, sou mortal, não sou mago por meu mal, e minha dor não aceito. Pobre de mim, sou mortal, não sou mago por meu mal, e minha dor não aceito. Antigas de português são como barcos no mar. Cantigas de português são como barcos no mar. Vão de uma alma para outra, com riscos de naufragar. Vão de uma alma para outra, com riscos de naufragar. E as são dias e noites, são noites e não dias, são dias e noites, são noites e não os dias são te ver, as noites pensando em ti, os dias a não te ver, as noites pensando em ti. Tenho vontade de ver-te, mas não sei como acertar. Tenho vontade de ver-te, mas não sei como acertar. Passeia onde não ando, andas sem eu te encontrar. Passeias onde não ando, andas sem eu te encontrar. E quero lá saber por onde andaste todo este dia. E quero lá saber por onde andaste todo este dia. Já faz bem quem se esconde, mas onde foste, Maria? Nunca faz bem quem se esconde, mas onde foste, Maria? Quando amanhã aparece, dizem que nasce alegria. Quando amanhã aparece, dizem que nasce alegria. Isso era até de noite era dia. Isso era se ela viesse, até de noite era dia. Naquela manhã deserta, chegaste cheia de nada, Trazias sonhos de seda perdida na madrugada. Trazias sonhos de seda perdidos na madrugada. Escolheste a cidade grande, nas malas trazias esperança, e por tudo ser tão grande quiseste esquecer lembrança. E por tudo ser tão grande deixaste a terra criança. Criança que já não és, amada que nunca foste, mulher que tens a teus pés o nada que o mundo trouxe. Mulher que tens a teus pés o nada que o mundo trouxe. Já não perguntas porquê, isso hoje já não interessa. O que lá vai não se vê, teus sonhos são o que resta. O que lá vai não se vê, teus sonhos são o que resta. O que lá vai não se vê, teus sonhos são o que resta. Teus olhos brilham rasgados, na sombra de um beijo breve. Sobre os ombros inclinados, contam segredos calados do amor que não se atreve. Sobre os ombros inclinados, contam segredos calados do amor que não se atreve. Nascem flores no teu caminho, do pranto que as alimenta. Chora o céu devagarinho, cantam as noites baixinho o que a tua boca inventa. Chora o céu devagarinho, cantam as noites baixinho o que a tua boca inventa. Sorrir parados do vento, entre as folhas a dançar. Junto ao rio onde me sento, com um beijo que é lento, contra a noite e o ar. Junto ao rio onde me sento, com um desejo que é lento, contra a noite e o mar. Quem me dera mais verdade em tudo que não te dei, do desejo à realidade, entre o sonho e a vontade, foi sem te que me encontrei. Do desejo à realidade, entre o sonho e a vontade, foi sem ti que me encontrei. Évora doce, negro vestido por capelinha, cercada de ouro, trigo em tesouro, mulher rainha. Guardas histórias, guerras e amores, por ti viver. E tens no quarto, cercado a praça, 1000 avenidas. São tuas mágoas que são escutadas.
Do you like the photo? You can unmute Dee for now.
Amargurada, dá-te o pé. E os teus cabelos ficam mais belos quando tu vês capas traçadas.
Hi, Joan.
Uma guitarra
I guess I better
cantando.
turn down my photo. I love it so much. We went to Portugal and experienced these wonderful photo singers and brought back this recording. Have you been to Portugal? You can unmute Dee. You want to unmute Dee?
I haven't been to Portugal.
I guess I'd better turn off my music. Goodbye, photo. Well, I'm sort of exploring. I'm exploring how here we go. Nola's iPad. So you can all unmute for now. This is a good time to be able to chat with each other. Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Good to see you. Cindy's one of my current students. Dee is one of my former students.
Yes.
Haley. Hi, Haley. And Joan also teach. Are you still teaching at the From, Joan?
I am, yes.
You are?
Yes.
Oh, great. Super. There's Michael Zimmerman, my husband. He teaches at the From. You can unmute, Michael. And I see Nola's iPad, but no Nola. There's Bert. Bert is joining us
Howdy.
from Alabama. Am I right?
Actually, the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Bay St. Louis to be specific. But I'm associated with Friends of Young South that are headquartered in Birmingham, Alabama.
Amazing. I mean, it's amazing. I was looking at all of the Jungian organizations around the world, and there are tons of them, I discovered. Yeah. So we'll start at noon, but I thought it'd be good to get everybody together a bit before in case people run into trouble with their devices, which happens. I just had one of my fellow writing friends who lives in Paris. She was going to join us from Paris and then discovered that her laptop is so old that it no longer will do it, that it can't do Zoom. So there you go. Modern technology and how we have to adapt. Amazing.
Well, you've been busy.
I have been busy, Dee. Are you busy too?
I'm pretty busy, yes.
I don't know anyone who isn't busy. I mean,
I know.
is there anyone here who isn't busy? No response.
Oh, no, we're all busy.
I-
Everybody's busy,
I mean,
especially if you're retired. You retire, you're busy.
Yeah,
Then you're,
that's true.
No, I don't think I've ever been busier than since I, in quote, retired, which I haven't really done completely. Yeah.
one of the blessings of having skills and talent that you can operate on a computer with a keyboard and connect electronically.
Yeah, the computer is just, I mean, that whole world of the internet has really, really changed our lives forever. There's Jane. Jane is almost here. Nola, maybe.
We're here. Nola's here with a whole bunch of folks.
That's Christina Lake, British Columbia. Behind Nola's iPad is Christina Lake, British Columbia. And
Leo's here.
And Leo's here.
Leo and Carol.
and that's my son and his
Hi, Lily.
Hi, Carol.
Lily.
Are we ever going to get a picture of you guys?
Guess not. I thought I had a camera. I'll look and see. I'll see if the camera's on. Right now we're serving soup. So one moment.
Okay. And we can unmute for now. We can chat. We have until noon for everybody to show. Hi, Gavin. Good to see you. And
There we are.
and
Hi,
Dee.
Lily.
Yeah. Hi. Oh,
Hi. Hi.
there's my son, Leo,
Hi.
with his baseball cap on, is it? Yeah.
Well, yes, I just got off the lake fishing. I was trying to catch a fish for you.
And you guys are eating.
We're gonna have lunch and watch and listen.
Oh, nice. Well, don't slurp.
Nola made some potato leek soup and some grilled cheese sandwiches.
Oh, how nice. Don't slurp. Don't slurp while you're eating.
All right, I promise.
And Jane, I missed you in class. I'm sorry you weren't able to join us this time around.
Likewise, I have a lot of revisions to do on my own, Lily.
Well, that's good.
I have a lot to work with.
But are you doing them?
Almost.
Almost.
I
Almost.
will be.
Almost doesn't count.
Your book's gonna inspire me.
I hope, yeah, I hope it inspires lots of people. Yeah. So what's the temperature like in Christina Lake today, Lee?
It's 17 Celsius. Do you know what that is?
18.3.
18.3 Celsius is about 68 degrees.
Yeah, well, that's about what it is here too.
Oh, okay.
And you're gonna get rain. There's this whole atmospheric river. You're gonna get a lot of rain. Hi,
Yeah.
little Mac Christine. You can unmute.
I'm on there. I just unmuted. Yeah, I don't know exactly why it's saying that, but
It's funny, little Mac. I do.
my little Macintosh, that's what it stands for.
I know, but it's cockeyed when it's like that.
Is that what you go by, little Mac?
No, that's just the name of my computer.
Yes.
This is my Macintosh laptop, so I call it Little Mac.
There's Susanna.
Over here.
His friend. Hi, Susanna. You're almost here.
Give me that rock that's right there. On top by the plant. Oh.
Susanna, nice to meet you. You'll have to unmute to be heard.
You as well. I'm a friend of Haley Parrott's.
Yes, I remember. I know. And there's Haley up there.
Yeah.
And
Looking forward to this.
yeah, I am too. A lot. So yeah, we still have quite a few more people to go, but doesn't mean we can't talk until.
Hi, Haley.
Hi, who was that?
I was just saying hi to Haley,
Oh, there, gotcha.
Susanna.
Yeah. So I'll go over, when we start at noon, I'll go over all these things that you can do. And I'm going to start a share screen now, because you should be aware of this. So this is, you'll see there are 10 giveaway copies. The print copies are only available for US residents, but we can send ebooks to Canada, the UK, and France. So there's 5 copies of Dreaming Myself into Old Age and 5 copies of the poetry collection, California Dreaming, that will be given away. So this is all you have to do to enter. You just post just one question. You can't post a dozen questions and then expect. So just post one question for the giveaway, but you can post other questions in the chat box. Just if you just have questions of us, that's fine. But one question, and then we'll pick 10 winners at the end of the launch. And I have your email addresses, so I'll be sending you emails asking you, you know, what you want, a print or digital copy. And then, of course, the books, if you're interested, can also be bought. Better to buy them at Shanty Arts, and I'll go over that later. Because Amazon and these other organized, Barnes and Noble and Walmart, they take a big chunk. But if you can't buy at Shanty, and if you need to buy from another outlet, and if you haven't tried bookshop.org, use that because it's very independent, publisher friendly and author friendly too. They don't take all of that money away from us. So anyone have any questions about how to access these books?
They're out on the shelf now.
They're out.
Wow,
They're all available now.
Great.
Yeah, there's Mike. Hi, Mike. There's Solace. Hi, Solace. Good to see you. You have to unmute if you want me to hear you for now. Yeah, there's Mary Grace. Hi, Mary Grace. Young, we still have Betsy. Betsy's visiting us from Oregon. Hi, Betsy, and hi, Oregon. And there you are, Betsy. Lovely to see you.
Hello, Lily. What a treat to be here with
Oh,
you.
there's Mort. Mort, I didn't know you were coming. And here you're in disguise. You're in disguise.
Hi, Lily.
Wonderful to see you.
Great to see you as well.
Yeah. In disguise as Nina.
Oh, you're right.
That's funny. So we still have.
That's the name I use when I, for my writing, when I publish. It's my.
That's your
what do you call it?
Right.
My pen name.
Yeah. I like what do you call it? It's
Okay.
I mean, at our age, that's what we call things, isn't it? I want that. What do you call it? That's become very familiar to me these days. Oh, there's Steve. Hooray, Steve. Are you able to use, which shoulder is it that you had the rotator cuff surgery on?
Right hand is not functional.
So you're a lefty writer now.
No.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Sorry to interrupt, Lily. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, great. Because before it was muted. Judith has been trying to get your Zoom address.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I'll try to send it to her right now, I guess.
If you can, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
And here is Anne. Carolyn, good to see you. You guys can unmute, and Barbara, you can unmute for now so you can say things. You can speak. You can have a voice. Yeah.
I'm afraid I don't know how to do this and keep you going on my screen. Let's
yeah,
see here.
I'm a little reluctant to walk away here.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. You can't forward the email that I sent you?
Yes, if I can get to it. I just see the Zoom screen now. I'm not that experienced at this. Let's see.
Is it to Judy Flume or which Judy?
No, this is to Judy that you don't know. It's not a student. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think she just needs to take her thing off of full screen. That's all.
Okay.
Maybe hit the escape key or something like that.
All right.
But come back.
Yeah. Okay.
Please come back. Oh, there's Jake. There's Jake. For those of you who don't know Jake, if you live in San Francisco, you may remember that he was once on the Board of Supervisors for many years and did some good things for San Francisco. There's Judy. Solace, Judy is here.
Oh, good. Okay. Then I won't worry about it anymore.
Well, hooray.
Yeah,
and
good.
Welcome, Terry. Great to see you. Oh, cool. I love hearing that little bell. It's like a doorbell. Someone's approaching. Wow. So let me take a look here. I know there are still people that are going to show up. That's my son filling his face in Christina Lake, British Columbia. It's the last lake in North America that you can still drink the water.
Wow.
Wow,
You can
amazing.
believe that, yeah.
Wow.
That's Leo's girlfriend, Carol. Yeah.
I'm sorry, which lake is it, Lily?
Christina Lake
And where is that?
in British Columbia, just above the American border.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous part of the world.
wow.
I'll be right back.
Christina.
Christina.
It used to be Lake Superior, but I think that stopped a while ago.
Who are you on the phone with? I think it'd be hard to believe that there's Ann Bailey. Oh, there's my brother-in-law. There's Ron, and my sister should be with him. Oh, Ron, you made it. I'm so proud of you. I don't think he can hear me. He's in Calgary. Everybody knows where Calgary is, right?
Right.
And Nancy is here too. Very cool. Lovely to see all your faces. I can just scroll up and down and look at these great faces. Betsy, you can see Michael, your cousin, yeah.
Absolutely, what a treat.
Now you can talk if you want.
Great.
Jake.
You'll be able to change it here.
Oh, there's Mary. I'm Mary. Lovely to see you. Now, Mary and Jake, we were on the part-time faculty association at the University of San Francisco. For many years, that's our connection. Well, I think we should maybe get started, and I want you to, so those of you who came late here, then I'll just go over again. If there will be 10 giveaway copies, and in order to win a copy, you need to post just one question into the chat box. And if you look at the bottom, I'm going to close this sharing thing. And so if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see chat, and you would just open that and you can write a question in there. And then at the end of the book launch, we'll pick 10 winners, and they'll get 3 books. Hooray, hooray, hooray. So for now, we'll stay muted because background noise can be really distracting. So Michael, you don't have to mute, but Joan, maybe manager, if you would mute, indeed. If you would mute for now. And anytime you want to say something, just unmute, and you can raise a hand. See my hand up here? There you go. And just click on that and it'll go away, lower hand, okay. Hi, Renata, lovely to see you. And there's my sister, Marina, look at her there. How nice to see you, Marina. I call her Biba because I couldn't say she's 6 years older than I am. So when I was little, I couldn't say Marina. So I renamed her Biba. So she's Biba and not Marina to me. So I think somebody already posted something in chat. And there you go, Steve, aren't you a smarty pants? You've got a question in there already. So we'll answer these questions later on. So I want you all to meet my wonderful publisher, editor. Her name really isn't Little Mac. Oh, Nancy Whitney. Oh, nice. Little Mac's real name is Christine Coate, and she's the terrific publisher, editor, Shanty Arts Press. And I first met Shanty Arts Press through the incredible quarterly that she puts out, and I'll give you an image later of that quarterly. But when I first discovered the quarterly, it was in, I'll just be able to give you a little view here. Gorgeous, gorgeous, and I disappeared. Gorgeous publication that now comes out online, and it's free. And I'm going to show it to you. Just give me a second here. It's such a gorgeous thing. Here's the latest one. And you just sign up and you'll get this quarterly. She does all kinds of different things. See, I'm not going to be able to get to take you inside it, but just go to, Shanty Arts Press, click on Still Arts Quarterly, and you can look at the current one. You can look at all the past ones. It's just a really, really rich magazine. So anyway, I had submitted a couple of articles that were published in that quarterly in earlier years. And then, so when I had finished the manuscript of Dreaming Myself into Old Age, Shanty Arts was my favorite possible place to have it published. And so I was delighted. Some of you got emails from me telling you how excited I was that they were going to publish it. So I keep losing with this gallery and people joining. Hi, Michael Verga. Where are you? Lost Christine. Oh, there you are, little
I'm
Mac.
right next to you, I think.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I wish you were right next to me. So anyway, I think people would love to know how you went from San Diego, California, to becoming a publisher in Maine on the East Coast, and what was that like to set up a publishing house with no past experience with one, from what I really.
Well, I guess the story is I worked for 30 years in higher education. 20 of those years, the last 20 of those years, I worked here at Bowdoin College, which is in Brunswick, Maine. And Bowdoin College is what brought me to Maine. So I moved here and worked there for a good long time. And when I hit a certain age, I decided that I wanted to do some things differently, and I wanted to do some things that were more creative. Spend my time doing something other than I had been doing for a long time. And, I really kind of thought about my interests, and they sort of all funneled down to nature, art, and spirituality, which is something I put in the back of every book that we publish. You can see on the top, Shanty Arts, nature, art, spirit. And of course, I love books. I grew up with books very much affecting my development. And so I had the idea to start a literary journal, which is what Lily was talking about, Still Point Arts Quarterly. Here's another one of our recent issues. And again, here on the bottom, nature inspires art. Art reveals spirit. Spirit changes the world. So that's sort of what guides me in all of this. And I've always been up for a challenge. So kind of making the transfer from working 9 to 5 or maybe more hours than that and doing this was a challenge. And there were some roadblocks along the way. But I focused on, what I wanted to do. And there have been some challenges that involve not falling into the corporate ways. And I have very much sort of followed my heart in doing this. So that's sort of how I got here.
How did you not fall into corporate ways?
Well, a couple things. I discovered very early on that distribution is a very costly and not very friendly track to get on. I initially spent quite a bit of money on distribution and figured out that it really was not to my advantage. It was to the advantage of the people who owned the distribution companies. So I got out of that business and said, I can still sell the journal. I can still sell books. And I have. And there were some other things like that. Some people tried to encourage me to do an app. And I did that and really found that it was not benefiting me. It was benefiting someone else who wrote it or wanted for it to appear on their website. So there have been those things along the way that I've just had to say no to because they really weren't for my benefit.
Gotcha. So I'm curious to know why you chose my two books.
Well, whenever I make selections, I think my first, the first hurdle is, does the book fit into this, this theme, this line here that I take so seriously? Does it fit within the umbrella of nature, art, and spirit? And both of your books certainly do. Poetry, art is embedded in your poetry and in the poetry book that we've published. And here's California Dreaming. And certainly in Dreaming Myself into Old Age, there's obviously it's embedded in psychology, in Jungian beliefs and spirituality. And when I think of
art.
And art, yes, exactly. And when I think of spirituality in art forms, I often think about, for example, in photography, there's what you take a picture of, the obvious thing in the picture, and then there's the part of it that's not so obvious, but is still in the picture. What's behind it? What is not visible to the naked eye, but is very much important to that photograph or that essay or that poem. And really, Lily, that's what your book is about. What this book is about is what's behind the things that we see and interact with in our physical world. So this fit into our scope, into my goals perfectly. And it's a wonderful addition to our catalog.
Thank you. And I must say that Christine is one of the few publishers that I know of who publishes poetry, even though poetry doesn't sell very much. So I'm really appreciative and I'm amazed that you're able to continue to do that, Christine.
Yeah, well, I think probably more than half of what we publish is poetry. And for a few reasons, I like poetry. I don't tend to read it from cover to cover. I keep a few poetry books lying around the house, and at the odd moment, I'll sit down and read something and take note of something. So I like poetry. I've also found that poets are really wonderful people to work with. Yes, exactly. Stand up and take a bow. They're delightful people. They're always interested in discussion of, what are the different possibilities that we can explore here to create this book. So poets are wonderful to work with. Plus, there's more with poetry as opposed to prose. There are more opportunities for design and layout.
Right.
The poem is structured differently. So there are more opportunities to really sort of, insert my designs into those books. So I just find them incredibly, pleasurable to produce.
Super. Well, I thank you, and the world thanks you, and this group thanks you for keeping on with your publishing endeavors. They're great. I'm going to turn this over to my husband, Michael, for a minute, because he's going to introduce me in case there are people here who don't know me. Michael, can you unmute, or you're already unmuted?
Unmuted.
Great.
I can't begin to tell you how exciting it's been to see the birth of a writer right before my eyes. A true home birth. Lily's been writing throughout her life. It's a kind of biological necessity for her, like breathing or eating. Her creativity knows no bounds. After she wakes up, she writes down her dreams, then meditates on them in a kind of lifelong diary. Somehow, she also manages to write short stories, poetry, essays, book reviews, and novels, while also filling our home with watercolors and creating a rock garden in our backyard with necklaces of colorful lights strewn everywhere. She also teaches very popular writing courses at the Fromm Institute for Lifelong Learning at the University of San Francisco. Most amazingly, she's published 4 novels from 2015 to today, and many collections of poetry, 3. I've fallen in love with her vividly painted characters and their adventure-filled lives, from Scotland to the farmlands of Alberta, from the ancient monuments of Mexico to San Francisco in its modern heyday, to the rock scene in 1960s Toronto. And as you might have noticed, I've also fallen in love with my Alberta rose.
Thank you, Michael. Well, so here I am, and I want to thank Solace Wales. Solace, can you sort of make yourself visible with a hand raise or something? There's Solace. She wrote one of the wonderful blurbs on the back of Dreaming Myself into Old Age. And she has published a terrific book, Graded in Fire, Black GIs and Tuscan Villagers on the Gothan Line, 1944. It's an amazing look at what these Black soldiers went through in Italy at that time. So if you're interested in history and that kind of history, I encourage you to check it out. The other writer of the back cover blurb is Russell Lockhart. He's a legendary Jungian analyst. He's written several books, but the 2 that I've read that had real effect on me, one is called Words as Eggs, and any writers in this assembly should really read it. It's an incredible insight into the energy in words and what these words do. So I'm very thankful to those 2 people for reading this manuscript earlier and promoting it. Yes. So here I'm going to give you some background on what got me interested in dreams and in writing this particular book, Dreaming Myself into Old Age. So I spent some of my early years on a farm on the prairies in Alberta in Canada. And you can't grow up on the prairies like that and not be conscious of these incredible cumulus clouds that gather in the sky. And I can remember spending hours looking at those clouds and seeing all the different shapes and characters that were coming in them. And so in a way, they were my early dreams. But when I really became aware of my nighttime dreams was during a camping trip. Leo, my son, might remember this camping trip that with my earlier husband, we had taken a camping trip with Leo and then another family to Lake Tahoe. And while they were sitting around the campfire at night, laughing and talking and so on, I stole off to our tent. And I had a flashlight. And in that tent, I had Carl Jung's book, Man and His Symbols. It was one of his earlier books that became really popular and still is popular, actually. And so in that, my cave of the tent, I discovered the power of nighttime dreams. There's symbolism, and there was such a thing as the unconscious. And I was, from that moment on, I was in a different world. And I was like Alice in Wonderland. And I ever since then, I have been a constant collector of my dreams. I started out by, had these postcards. You remember the postcards we used to use? And so I would write my dreams on these postcards. I don't know why I thought they had to be on these little rectangle pieces of cardboard, but that's how I started out. And I had tons of them that unfortunately got too badly singed in the fire that destroyed my home in 1992. Excuse me. So I then progressed to using spiral notebooks. And then hang on a second while I grab this off the floor where it fell. Then I moved up to this really big, you get a sense of the size of it. And you'll see on one side it's black. Where's this shown here? Well, that doesn't work too well. One side is black, the other side is brown. Why? Because of the fire. So you're getting the black side is the fire side. I was extremely fortunate that I only lost 5 years of my journals in that 1992 fire. And I have dozens of them left, and I've been reading and reviewing them recently. They've been my basic nighttime reading before I go to sleep. And they're just filled with dreams and my, thinking about them and so on, and my reflections at that time. So, and I continue, as Michael pointed out, I continue to record the dreams and work with them. And, so one of the things I discovered from Jung's man and his symbols is that symbols play a major role not only in dreams, but also in transmitting material that enlarges our understanding of ourselves and the world. And so after I finished reading that book, I was seeing symbols everywhere. And I would attend my son's baseball games, and I was seeing symbols in every aspect of the baseball game. I'd go to the mall and I'd see symbols in everything that was happening around me. So it was like my world enlarged so greatly after my discovery of dreams. And it continues to enlarge because of that. So it's really been since my late 20s that they've performed this major role for me. And I feel they're kind of like funhouse mirrors that reflect back multiple images of ourselves, capturing how multifaceted we are. It's as if we have this inner being who knows us intimately, and through dream images and stories broadens and deepens our self-understanding. So I also started working at that time or soon after with a Jungian-oriented therapist, because I went through a year of very severe deep depression. And I also, she happened to have a dream group. And two of those dream group members are here, Nancy Gilmore and Solace Sheets, whom I introduced. And we met for 25 years, twice a month. We'd go to a different house each time of the different dream group members. And we usually had about 6 or 7 people in the dream groups. And there we shared our inner worlds. And it was a magical, intense, powerful time for us. I think all of these women, we had men, 1 or 2 men initially, but They fell away, but the women continued. And so I thought that what I'd share with you from the book today is from Dreaming Myself into Old Age. When I turned 72, I had decided it was time for me to go back into Jungian analysis because of my fears of aging and death. Anyone here share my fears of aging and death?
Hi, Lily.
I mean, how many hands go up? Well, that was my, and yeah, you don't have to be really old to have those feelings either. So that was why I started a new analysis at 72. And I was very fortunate because the Jungian analyst, he was a psychiatrist and MD too. And so for me, it was really important to be able to work with someone who brought together those two worlds of scientific knowledge as well as psychological and spiritual too. Welcome to newcomers. I'm sorry I haven't been able to stop and welcome you. Lori's from Calgary, sister-in-law, and Marion Joyce Child. It's a wonderful name. I want that name, Joyce Child. It's a great name. Lots of wonderful names here. Anyway,
Lily, I'm sorry, Lily, I wonder if I could just interrupt for 1 second and remind people that if you post a question, you'll be in a drawing to receive a free book at the end of this.
Oh, thanks.
Yep, we're going to give away 10 books. And also just for the new people who have joined since earlier, just again, if you post a question in the chat room, you'll be in the drawing for a free book.
Super. And I just realized that I think I need to make you the co-host, which I don't think I've done yet. If I can find, there's a little Mac. More.
Oh, shit.
More. Make co-host. Hooray. There, it's official. Okay. So anyway, so I started working with this Jungian, and the miracle was that he took Medicare. And if you try to find really good psychologists, you'll find that it's very difficult to find ones who do take Medicare. So I was thrilled because he had been a training analyst at the Jung Institute. He was very well respected, and he was really terrific to work with. So this then is from the book, and it's my first meeting with him. So while in his waiting room, nervously trying to entertain myself, I examined all of the framed photographs of doors that hung on the walls. Anxious about this new potential relationship with an unfamiliar man, I speculated on opening one of those doors. Where would it take me? I didn't have an answer, and that uncertainty almost made me bolt for my car. But I realized, and I called him Dr. Y here, and I chose that Y when I asked him during one of my sessions. You know, he knew that I was writing this book, which he would be referred to, which he'd like to be referred to as X, Y, or Z, and he said why, and he said why not? So here's Dr. Y. But I realized Dr. Y and I both would be opening many doors over the course of our analytic relationship. This would be just the beginning. At the appointed time of 2 p.m., he entered the waiting room and invited me inside his office. Close to me in age, bearded, and well over 6 feet tall, he resembled an Old Testament patriarch. His calm presence put me at ease immediately. So did his office, located at the edge of a lagoon, suggesting that we would be working close to the unconscious, often represented symbolically as a body of water. A homey space, his office had a hunter green sofa for patients to sit on and a matching chair for him. We sat across from each other, and the analysis began when he asked me why I was there. I told him of reading Man and His Symbols in 1973 on a camping trip. The book had taken me into a realm I've never left. I also told him about a recent experience I'd had that reminded me of Jung and his ability to perceive what many of us can't. And that recent experience was my husband and I had spent a few nights at a place in Osoyoos, BC in Canada. And it was a B&B, but what it featured was this world-class telescope. And my son, Leo, is the one who had actually told me about this place. So we had signed in, and we were just turned inside out by the experience of what we saw in the heavens. Something that you can't do with the naked eye. And this telescope in the daytime even, was taking us, we were looking at the sun, at the moon, at Mars, at so many different planets, and then things we couldn't identify. So it was like something had opened up because of that experience that reminds me then of how dreams take us into these realms too, that are sometimes and often unfamiliar, but they're very, very present and have a tremendous amount of power. So then I asked Dr. Y how he had merged the medical, the more rational way of being, with the mythic. He said, I don't see a separation between soma and psyche, nor did Jung. Reassured by his response, I told him I'd been in a grocery store bathroom when I'd received his first call. So I'd made a call to see if he was available for me to work with. So that's where I was, in my favorite grocery store in San Rafael, California, United Markets, when he returned my call. He agreed we'd be spending some of our time in the place where waste products are processed and dispelled. So then he asked if I'd had any dreams since we talked on the phone. I told him of one where I was involved with a group of people who were putting on an impromptu event that included poetry. I seemed to have a leadership role and suggested Robert Haas. How many of you have heard of Robert Haas? For those who read poetry, yeah, he's a major poet. Anyway, I had suggested Robert Haas, a major American poet, as a reader. But several people were down on Haas, claiming that he had turned too conservative. I didn't think that should change the fact that he's a wonderful poet. I told Dr. Y that Haas represented the more traditional perspective of narrative poetry. And while I also write in that mode, I'm equally drawn to the work of his wife, Brenda Hillman, who tends to be more experimental. I mentioned my own recently published poetry collection, All This, and how it blends both worlds. He wondered if Haas represented a more patriarchal view that I continue to favor, though other voices in the dream seem to be challenging me. This could be an issue we'll confront together, the tension between patriarchal consciousness and those voices inside me that oppose it. He spoke quietly, thoughtfully, making observations about my dreams and other topics without imposing a view. We ranged widely, but our time together also was focused. One of the main themes that surfaced is how to juggle the rational scientific worldview and the mythic. He also wondered if my re-entering therapy could be about a need for renewal. That is, letting go of an old identity and moving toward a new one. He said there might be a lot of resistance to it. And of course, resistance could also be a reaction to working with a man again. As a younger woman, I'd been in intense therapy with a Jungian-oriented female analyst and established a stronger connection to my female roots, among many other things. At 72, I felt it would be important to meet with a man. I was sure there must still be many lingering problems to address with a male analyst, given that our culture remains so masculine-oriented. Men still rule on most levels, and this could be a safe place for me to push back at these inequalities as I more formally establish my own stance. It's never too late to take on this challenge. Dr. Y and I conversed easily. I knew before my time was up that I found the right person to guide me during this time in my life wherever that might lead. And so that was the beginning of a really important time for me with Dr. Y. And in the book, I, threaded throughout the book are other meetings with him and dreams that were speaking to me during that time. And it's funny. I think many of us resist dreams in the same way that we sometimes resist poetry, because they seem to speak a language that's difficult to understand. And Marie-Louise von Franz, an early colleague of Carl Jung's, she said that she complained about them too. She felt that it was as if they were speaking Chinese, just a totally foreign language. But they in the way they resemble poems is they often speak symbolically and through imagery, and they call on our imagination to unpack them, to help us get closer inside to whatever it is, what messages they may have. And of course, there are many different kinds of dreams, and I don't go into all of that. That's another search for you guys if you're interested. So I'm going to stop there. I'll just, if anyone has a question or two about what I've just read, I'd be happy to take that now before I move on to California Dreaming. Anybody have a question? Yes, Mike. Unmute, Mike.
Yeah, and I wrote this in the chat too. I totally concur with the assertion that the mythic and the scientific are really not separate. They're the same thing, two ways of looking at the same thing, like two sides of the same coin in a way. And I'm also always looking for ways to explain that, or to explain that to myself and to demonstrate that. I really do think they're the same thing.
Yes, thanks, Mike. Kristen, unmute.
Hi, I also put this is a question I put in the chat. I found it interesting you're talking about like a new growth cycle and returning to therapy. And by the way, congratulations on your book. I'm really excited for you. So I wrote that I have, when I'm entering a growth phase, I have dreams about finding new rooms in my house.
Oh, yes.
And I'm just wondering if you have like a...
Oh, you're cutting out, Kristen. Oh, Kristen, you're gone. Barbara, I'm going to have to move on to you. Kristen's gone. Barbara, unmute.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, Kristen, yeah, you.
Did I blip out?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll take my question off the air.
Okay, thank you. Barbara, unmute. You need to unmute, Barbara.
Okay.
There you go.
Anyway, thank you. I wanted to thank you for your writing and thank you for your teaching. And I think this idea that you're bringing up is so important for writers. This idea about getting up in the morning when you're close to the dream world and sitting down and writing. It's such a good time for us to get rid of the critic and to really be present with the symbols and what really matters. And so I think you've helped me a lot in my writing, and all of your students to really help us to dig deeper and to look at the symbols of things. Anyway, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Barbara. It's terrific. Thank you. Okay, my dears. Well, I'm going to move on to California Dreaming, and I'm just going to read two poems from there. And the first one actually came from a dream. My grandfather, my Scottish grandfather, had visited, a schoolmaster grandfather had visited me in a dream. So this poem is entitled, If Only. Last night, grandfather spoke into my left ear, angry about something he'd read and wanting me to understand why. I didn't know the dead could feel such fire. His words burned into my brain. My own mortality seems more certain now. Once I could convince myself I would live forever. If only I could wear the skin of the past and tuck the future into a pocket whose opening I would so shut.
Beautiful.
So then the other poem that I'm going to read, I'm going to share the screen because it's the wonderful thing about both of these books that Christine has published of mine is that they have color in them, color images. And in the poetry collection, California Dreaming, I have a section of what they're called ekphrastic poems. Those are poems that are written in response to some other art form. And so this was in response to Matisse, who was a major painter in the early 1900s, and someone that my husband and I fell in love with. And we made these pilgrimages to as many museums as we could find in the world that featured Matisse's art. So give me a second while I just can share this screen with this. So here is Matisse's still life, bouquet of dahlias and white book. And here's my response to this image. I stumble on the words still life that describe this painting. Nothing about it is still. The dahlias anchoring the painting swoon in the vase, too small to hold their abundant blossoms. Pink blooms and green leaves swirl on the background wall, and the chair behind the table teeters as if caught in motion. The pewter plate with 2 pieces of fruit and a half-full glass float atop the surface next to the white book, also in flight. On the right, perching on the table's edge, leans 1/4 of a blue and white vase, attempting to stay within the frame. So I hope that that gives you perhaps another way of looking at this painting. It was, there are 4 other paintings by Matisse in that book. The images are in the book too. So I'd like to open this up to some of the questions that came into the chat box. And Christine, are you going to
Here.
Yeah.
Sure. You want me to pose the questions?
Yeah. How many questions did we get?
Oh, goodness. It looks like 12 or 15.
Terrific.
Oh, a nice number. Some of these have already been dealt with. Steve Pellets asked, how many years did you work on this latest book?
Yeah, good question. By the way, I call this a hybrid memoir. And I'm sure my students will be wondering, why is it hybrid and not just memoir? And certainly my husband wanted to know that answer. And it's because most memoirs are narratives where the writer is writing, bringing up past experiences and writing about those past experiences in their lives. In this one, I'm doing multiple things. I do some of that, but I also have some critical pieces where I'm looking at poetry and giving my analytical response to the poetry. I'm looking at other art mediums. I have actually a whole section that looks at just a series of dreams I had about this place that burned in the fire, the house of mine that was destroyed. And it was the street that the house was on was Harcourt Street in San Rafael. And so all of those dreams, it was just amazing how my dream world kept creating new things out of that house, the dreams I had about that house. Where was I going with this? Oh, Steve, yeah, hybrid. So it doesn't fit into the traditional memoir. category, and that's why I've called it a hybrid memoir. So how long did it take? Well, certainly at least 3 years to put it together. Yeah. Did that answer you, Steve? Steve is, yeah. Did that answer it for you, Steve?
Yes, absolutely. I was curious, yeah, just how much time you spent pulling it together. So that answers it. Thank you.
Great. Other questions, Christine?
Yes, there are a number of questions about dreams specifically. Here's one. This is from Bert Young. Have you encountered a single dream story over multiple dreams over time?
Oh, yes. And I just actually mentioned the one about Harcourt, the house on Harcourt Street, and how those dreams changed, transformed over many years, certainly over the time that I was working with my latest Dr. Y. Yes, I've had several dreams that have had similar stories that repeated themselves, and had to really look more intensely then at why was my dream maker asking me to look more deeply at this theme. Other questions, Christine?
This one from Kristen is part of what she was trying to say earlier when she cut out somehow. It's many of my growth dreams have to do with houses, specifically finding new rooms. Do you have a recurring growth symbol?
Yeah, well, for me, it seems that I'm moving. I move a lot. And I remember, if Nancy Gilmore, she's still here, if she's hearing, I remember her mentioning that to me when we were in dream group, that I seem to move a lot in my dreams. And for me, moving I nearly always suggests that there's another level of myself that I'm moving to. Yes, that happens to me too. Other questions?
Here's one from Judy. What has been your most helpful dream image in facing your fears of old age?
My most helpful dream image, I've had so many of them that, well, this comes into the book. I had a very short dream where I was told that I was part octopus. I've thought about that for a long time, wondering, in what ways am I part octopus? And then it occurred to me, and this just occurred to me recently, when my husband was pointing out how many areas I'm active in and how multifaceted I am in what I read and trends and everything. And then it just, oh, of course, so I was thinking of octopus, this is going to be something really mystical and amazing. But I think it really described how I am in the world, that I have all kinds of tentacles out there in lots of different places. And so I suppose, Judy, that's helped me in my, thinking about aging and death and so on, to think that there are so many things out there that we don't know about. And I think that octopus image reminds me of that constantly. Other questions?
Gavin asks, do you document dreams immediately after you wake?
Yes, I do. I sit down immediately. Otherwise, you lose them, and it's so much a part of my routine for me. Michael is very careful not to talk to me when I first sit up in the living room with my computer and begin to record my dreams. And yes, immediately.
And then related to that, Loretta asks, how do you recall the dream that is somewhat vague when you wake?
You don't. You don't, but you hope it comes back. I mean, if it's an important dream, it'll return in some other form, probably. But you could also just sort of fantasize about if there are any images at all that remain from this vague dream, you could maybe try to fantasize about what it might be, see if that extends out, reaches out into anything.
Have you ever experienced deja vu in your dreams?
Well, you don't experience them in your dreams, you experience them in daily life. And I've certainly experienced deja vu in daily life where I felt, oh, this feels like something I've experienced before, that I've done this before. This seems very familiar. So, yeah.
Let's see. Actually, Loretta also wants to know the name of the book on symbols that you mentioned earlier.
Oh, Man and His Symbols. Man and His Symbols. Carl Jung.
Okay. How do you find aging is different from what you imagined it would be as a young person? That's a good question.
I never thought I'd get old. Did you? I mean, really? I mean, whoever believes that will happen to us? And it's come as a shock because I've always been really energetic, really, just in life. And to think that, I'm 82 now, and things are starting maybe not to work quite so well. And we begin to slow down in certain ways. And I don't like it because it doesn't fit, the image I've had of myself all these years. And I'm having, and this is one of the challenges, of course, that we all face as we age. How do we adapt to this new person that we're becoming? I think it's, we talk about the different stages of childhood and so on, teenagers, young adulthood. But I think this period of time is one of the most profound that we go through. And I don't think there are enough things written about what happens to our identities as we get older and how we make those adjustments.
Let's see, just bouncing around here. How do each of your previous novels lead up to a memoir? Do you see an evolution from fiction to memoir?
Well, it isn't so much that they lead up to a memoir. It's that they're just another aspect of another way of me to put out into the world things that are important to me. And they're another way of expressing the imagination. So, yeah.
Let's see. Why does Matisse inspire your poetry so much?
Why does he inspire my poetry?
Why does Matisse inspire your poetry so much?
Oh, because he's such an amazing painter. Because there are so many spaces in his paintings, just as in dreams there are those spaces. And so you have to really look carefully to begin to see what is or isn't happening in particular works that he does. And he's so varied too in how he handles color. I love his color, it's just incredible. And there's just wow, just a life force that seems to come through his paintings, for me at least, that I don't get it in a similar way from any other painter.
Going back to the topic of dreams, have you experienced or possibly even intentionally practiced lucid dreaming?
Well, I had no choice. I've been reading some of the dreams I've been reading in early journals. This is going back until 1981 and so on. They just came and very intensely, and they were absolutely wonderful. A lucid dream, for those of you who haven't heard that term, for me and my understanding of them, is a dream where you're totally awake in the dream and you know you're awake. And so it changes the complexity. It changes the feeling of the dream when that happens, and it's such an extraordinary feeling to have a lucid dream and to know that you're actually awake in this dream. You know, so these mysterious things that we have every night, all of a sudden you're awake and having it. It's delicious, and that's so. I had them a lot when I was younger. I had them less frequently now that I'm older, and I go, boo, boo, dream maker, whatever happened to those wonderful lucid dreams. Other questions?
From Mort, how do you deal with your aging internal editor, the part of you that continues to want to revise it and make it even better?
Oh, I love that editor, as the editor pushes me to do better and to make discoveries that I wouldn't have made if I didn't have that insistent editor pushing me on. So I'm so happy that I have that aging editor, Mort, and I hope everyone has one, and that you honor that aging editor. Give that editor a lot of time and space for sure. Yes.
I think there's one here that is kind of for both you and me. Wondering how you promote Lily's book, particularly her latest. Speaking for myself, promotion and marketing of books is a mystery. If anyone has it completely figured out, I'd love to know what you have to say. I provide typically the tools that are used to promote and market books, the book's webpage, a press release possibly, and certainly I'm willing to do whatever I can to help my authors. But, you know, it's really, most of it is up to the author. And what I've sort of observed over the years is that the best way to sell books, the best way to promote a book is through events like this one, whether it's in-person events or Zoom events, events at bookstores or galleries or, you know, wherever, reading groups, you know, events is really key to promoting a book. I don't know, Lily, if you have anything to add to that.
Well, I have fortunately discovered that the book is probably going to interest people who already have an interest in an inner life. And so I've discovered that there are Jung organizations all over the world, and in, you know, Colorado and little towns, and in Alabama where Bert is, and all over the place. And so and that's where I met Bert Young, who's here today. He's from Alabama, and that's where I've been sending a lot of emails asking them to please let their members know about my book, and, you know, giving a brief description of it. So I'll be doing a lot more of that. And I'll also, Bert had wondered if I'd be interested in doing a presentation with his organization. And so I'll be investigating ways that I can do that via Zoom. It's something that I could do, you know, again, internationally. So I'm hoping to develop that possibility.
Yeah, and that makes a good point, which is that every book is so different. There really isn't just one general way to promote a book.
Right.
I often tell people you have to figure out where the people are who have an interest in your book and figure out a way to reach those people.
Yeah.
So every book is different.
Right. And so that's essentially what I've been doing.
Yeah.
So I noticed the chat box has something's been added. Have you seen that?
Let's see. Is there any aspect of ageism that you would warn longer living people to watch out for?
Well, ageism, you know, I've been reading and thinking a lot about this lately. It's such an inherent part of our culture. We're painted as these doddering idiots often, or, you know, people who aren't quite with it and so on. And I think it's in any way we can, we must fight back against those images, and especially the ones that we've absorbed into ourselves, so that we're seeing ourselves through those glasses too. And so, yeah, we've got to all fight against ageism. It's really, really destructive.
I think that might be about it. Anybody want to pose a question just now?
Hi, Audrey. We've sort of just finishing.
I'd like to ask a question. How did you interest your favorite publishers in publishing your books in the beginning?
Well, I started out, as I think most early writers do, thinking I was going to have a great agent and I was going to publish with a big publishing house in New York and etc. So I wasted a lot of my time sending out hundreds of queries to agents. I did have agents early on, and one was particularly a good one, New York agent. And the unfortunate thing is that he was promoting my book, Curva Pelagrosa. In fact, if you haven't seen my books, there they are. He was promoting that back in 2009, when that really bad financial downturn happened. So it was the worst time in the world to be trying to publish what I was considered as a beginning author. But after that, I decided I'm going to go directly to small presses and see what happens. And almost immediately, that's when my first book, Fling, was accepted by Pinnell Publishing, and they signed a contract with me. They wanted 3 of my books, and they published Fling, Freefall, and Divine Comedy, and The Ripening, The Canadian Girl Grows Up. And then I went, Regal House Publishing was just starting out, and they now have become a major small press, and they published Curva Pelagrosa. So that's, for those of you who are struggling with getting published, sometimes that a traditional path isn't the best one, because they have a very narrow niche of agents and publishers, and small presses, you have a much better chance of being read and being accepted too.
Also financially rewarding?
No. I mean, unless you're a major author, you're not making much money off of these books, believe me. But would you agree, Christine?
Yes.
Yeah. And for publishers too, I would assume it's not a money making.
Yeah, you have to be in this for more than the money, certainly.
Yes. Yeah. Any other questions at this point? So do we have oh, Jake, yes, unmute Jake.
No, I just wanted to say thank you and wish you a happy autumnal or vernal equinox, a complete 24-hour day of equinox.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for what you're doing. I'm sorry, I had posted a question, but I don't know if I hit the right button to send it through. And please, if it's not something to probe into right now, just thoughts you might have had. But have you ever compared your Jungian views of dreams with Freudian interpretations?
Well, I live with the Freudian.
I know you do. I know, Michael. And that's why I wondered if you both had ever discussed any of this. If there's anything meaningful to throw at us at the end here.
We have, and discuss may not be the right word.
I don't know.
But I actually write about it in the book, and Dreaming Myself into Old Age. I write about these differences and the and interesting things that have come up as a result of it. Yes, so we have had conversations, and we do have very different approaches to dreams. But I respect his, and I think he respects mine too. So we're all different. You gotta, find.
Well, I assume that on that age question, Jung has kept you young, if I may use a really simple pun. But I think I always live with the thought that we are every age we've ever lived. I forget. Somebody. And so it's with us. It's with us. Everything's with us. Yeah. I think that's one of the advantages of age, in a sense.
Yeah.
as that we're living all those other ages, and people who are young haven't lived the ages that are yet to come. So
That's right. It's true. We do have that advantage, and sometimes it's a disadvantage too.
yeah, I know. Sorry.
Yeah, no, not to be sorry. Thank you. So do we have winners?
Yep, I will, we do, I will name those in a minute. Loretta posted just now, where do we purchase Lily's books? The best place to get them would be on our website, and I did post the address earlier on it's in your chat space, but again, I'll say it's www.shantiarts.com, SHANTIARTS.com. So you can go there and buy them. They're on Amazon. And actually just about any online book retailer you can imagine, Barnes and Nobles, many others, A-Books, Walmart, actually walmart.com has them. A site that I actually recommend is bookshop.org. A really nice idea that they're following, and I would recommend them to you if you're looking for an online bookseller. In terms of going to a physical bookstore, you can go to any bookstore and order them, but they may not necessarily have them on the shelf for you to take home that day, but they'll certainly order them for you. And I think that's that. So let me figure out, shall I name the winners of the books?
Oh, please, yeah.
Okay, so we'll do California Dreaming first. Burt Young, Mike Abkin, Mary Grace Bannon, Gavin, I don't have a last name for that one.
Here, yeah, I know who Gavin is.
Okay. And Renata Beguin. Okay, so those 5 people have won a copy of California Dreaming. Okay, and then the next one, Dreaming Myself into Old Age, Steve Pellets, Barbara Sapienza, Judy, I don't have a last name.
Judy Webb.
Judy
Webb.
Unless there's another Judy.
Yeah, Judy Webb.
Okay, Judy, Loretta Stevens.
Oh, great.
And there we go, Ann Bailey. Okay.
Super. Oh, great.
All right. Terrific.
Yeah. So I have a question of there are a couple of people I don't know here. Carla Start Big. Where did you appear from? How did you know about the launch?
I saw your advertisement on Binders of a Certain Age.
Oh, great.
On Facebook.
Oh, hooray. Well, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
I love all your stuff. It's fascinating. Thank you. Thank you.
And I don't know Marianne's iPhone. I wonder, that isn't a name that if Marianne is there and wants to unmute and tell us where she how she came to be here. No, Marianne, I guess. And Anne, are you my Anne that I worked with, Anne Comey?
Yes, I'm Ann Comey.
Well, I was looking and thinking, well, gee, she looks really familiar, but we change as we age. And it's so lovely because Anne was a student early on when I taught at the prom, and I worked with her intensely on a wonderful memoir that she wrote, having grown up in Utah. She and her sister, when they were young, vagabond virgins. Yeah, and there she is. Yeah. So it's an incredible book and it should be published. So anyway, I thank everyone else for taking time out of their busy lives. If you have questions, feel free to email me. Yeah, lovely to see everybody. And those of you, Leo and where's Betsy? Betsy gone. Oh, there's Betsy. No, there's Dee. So maybe those who want to stay and visit. Oh, there's my sister. Yeah. So my sister, Leo, if you want to just hang around when other people leave, Michael and I can visit a little bit. lovely to see you all and
Thank
hope
you
to see
so
you
much.
soon. And thanks for sharing this adventure with me.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And thanks, Christine.
Thanks, Lily.
So I'll send emails to the winner to get your address.
Thank you, Lily.
Thank you. That was great.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
so
you so
much,
much.
Lily. Thank you.
It was really lovely. Thank you.
Thanks, Alice. Thanks, Bert.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Nancy. Thanks for visiting. And whoever 6166522 is. It's always a mystery when that happens. Virginia, I don't know. Where do I know you from? Unmute.
I'm a member of Arts of Point Richmond.
Oh, that's it. Of course. Of course. When I saw the name, I thought, oh, that's Arts of Point Richmond. Thanks so much for coming.
Well, I'm really very happy that I did so. I'm looking forward to reading your books. I
Okay.
haven't.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yep. And there's Loretta.
I was having trouble with my computer and I wasn't able to get in to ask a question, but so I had to move to even get my computer to work, continue.
I'm happy to answer your question now.
Well, my main question is, are you going to be teaching another class after this one that you're teaching now?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about what I will do in that class, but yes, I'm scheduled to teach one in the winter session, January.
Oh, okay.
Where?
At Fromm Institute, the University of San Francisco's program for older adults. It's the Fromm Institute of Lifelong Learning. They offer wonderful, wonderful classes to older adults. Some of them are on Zoom, others in person, some are hybrid. Haley is turning upside down and she's doing all these different things.
Well, I'm really thrilled you're going to be teaching again. That's
And I look forward then, hopefully you can take the class again.
Yes.
That'd be great. So, oh, there's Gail. Gail, you missed it. Oh, Gail, I missed you. I'm sorry. I can send you a recording. I'll send you a recording. Yeah. Stay around if you want to talk to my sister and her husband and my sister-in-law and my son. So
These are all family?
Some of my family, yeah.
Yeah. Bye, Lily. We're heading out, walking dogs now.
Oh, you're gonna leave. You're not gonna chat.
I think, I don't know. We got, looks like we got things we got to do. Anyways,
I think we
thanks.
lost Rain and Ron, so I think we're all gonna go.
Oh, I miss you.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much, Lily, and I have certainly appreciated your little book of poems.
Oh,
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks, Carol. Thanks so much. Okay, so we'll adjourn then, and Gail, I'll send you a recording.
Thank you very much. I am so sorry to have missed it.
You're just an hour late.
I was so ready for it. I
Oh.
was so ready for it. I'll tell you about it later. I hope it went well.
Yes, it did. Nancy, are you still there? Little voice. Okay, I'm going to, I have to go look at these messages. Oh, that's Mary Ann, okay. Oh, great. Okay, I'm going to shut this down. So thanks for joining us, Susanna. We're going to be shutting down. Thanks for coming, Loretta. You get a book. It's great. And Nancy, are you there? Anyway, I'm going to end this now.
Okay, talk soon, Lily.
Adios.